and welcome to Star Wars for 100 Days, the ultimate fan countdown leading up to the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. We're not that far off, we're officially 56 days away from the release of the next big sequel in the Star Wars franchise. For those of you who've been following my reviews or have already watched Clone Wars, you know that it's not a traditional TV series. It's a micro-series where every single episode is about 3.5 minutes long. The first 20 episodes of Clone Wars are just like that. The next 5 episodes are double the length of those episodes and add a little more story to Star Wars Clone Wars. Not only that, but this story is actually what's going to directly lead into Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into Chapter 21, which begins again with a battle against General Grievous. The episode actually opens up with ARC Trooper Fordo busting in and saving Ki-Adi-Mundi and the surviving Jedi against General Grievous. This scene is really awesome because, again, it just demonstrates why Grievous is such a cool character. He doesn't even really flinch when he sees these guys bust into the room. He actually ends up taking out a few of the troopers and makes an incredibly grand escape as he's dodging all of their blaster attacks as well as the attacks from their massive gunship. The rest of the episode focuses on Anakin Skywalker as he returns from battle so that he can meet Padme. This scene is really great because it just firmly establishes their relationship a little bit more than the movies, and it's also really cool that Padme actually has the Princess Leia buns going on. We also get to see C-3PO actually get his golden armor for the first time, so that's a really nice fun fact. But the rest of the episode features Anakin Skywalker as he becomes a Jedi Knight. No longer a Padawan, they go through this entire ridiculous ceremony where they invite him into this pitch black room, and then suddenly all of these lightsabers start to ignite around him in a circle, and that's when Yoda makes him a full-fledged Jedi Knight. The episode ends with Anakin reluctantly having to go back into the battle as the Clone Wars intensify. In many ways, the last 5 episodes of Clone Wars are really their own separate thing. In fact, when they actually divided them up in the DVDs, this was known as Volume 2. What I really loved about this one, though, is how it actually all is going to tie directly into the next big Star Wars film that it's connected to, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. In fact, when Clone Wars ends, it's going to go directly into that movie, not even missing a beat. So really, this is sort of like the prequel to that movie, and getting to see all of the events which lead up to that. That being said, this episode here is really interesting, and it really separates itself a lot from the other episodes of Clone Wars. There's a lot more emphasis on story, there's a lot more dialogue. The good thing is, it doesn't take away from anything else. The animation, the action scenes, all still look amazing. Case in point, General Grievous at the beginning of this episode. He's just as awesome as he was in the previous, and you'll get to see a lot more of him in action. I also really love that they decided to bring back Fordo and his ARC Troopers. Them busting into the room and just annihilating them with chain guns and all of these crazy blaster weapons looked really awesome. And this will also be the last time that we see these traditional clone troopers before they move into their next phase of armor, which makes them look even more like the classic stormtroopers of the series. I also really liked what they were doing with Anakin in this episode, because before he becomes a Jedi Knight, he gets into this argument with Obi-Wan Kenobi, where he tells them that he actually misses Master Qui-Gon. And that leads to one other interesting scene from this episode, where apparently at some point in the past, Qui-Gon Jinn, Anakin Skywalker, actually went to the planet of Dagobah, and he went through the whole, Dark Jedi cave to sort of face his fears, take what you have with you, so to speak. Now, what's interesting about this scene is that it doesn't really fit into the timeline whatsoever. This would actually have to take place during Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and this would be after they left Tatooine and before they got to Naboo, or maybe even before they got to Coruscant. And they never really explained how this could actually fit in. Did they just decide to take a pit stop at Dagobah and take a piss and do a little bit of Jedi training? I'm not really sure, but it is still a great homage to the original scene from Empire Strikes Back when Yoda is training Luke. That being said, everything else with Anakin in this episode is still pretty nice, especially when he does become an actual full-fledged Jedi. That whole ceremony is very chills-inducing, and seeing him interact with Padme makes you believe in their relationship a little bit more. Overall, this was another really fun episode of Clone Wars, which is going to be the beginning of this start of the series, which is really, really strong, and is just going to get more action-packed as it goes on. So at the end of the day, I loved this episode, but I want to hear from you guys. Did you watch this chapter of Clone Wars? Did you watch it when it aired for the first time? Are you watching it now, trying to get all hyped up for The Force Awakens? Please tell me in the comment section below, and make sure to tell me what you guys hope to see from Star Wars The Force Awakens. Thank you guys for watching my video. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.